The Ridgeview Apartments were the kind of place you ended up in, not the kind you chose. I signed the lease because it was cheap, and after my last roommate ghosted me, leaving me with a broken lease and an empty bank account, I didn't have options. The building was a relic from the 70s, its yellowed wallpaper peeling like sunburnt skin. The elevator groaned like an old man, and the hallways always smelled faintly of mothballs and something sour. But it was mine. At least, that's what I told myself. The other tenants were a mix of retirees and quiet loners. Mrs. Kowalski in 2B watered her plastic plants every Sunday. Mr. Fletcher in 3D fed the stray cats by the dumpster. And then there was Miss Adler. I first saw her on moving day. She stood at the end of the 4th floor hallway, her frame thin as a wire hanger, her blue dress hanging off her like it was made for someone else. Her hair was grey and brittle, tied back in a loose bun. But it was her eyes that froze me, wide, unblinking, fixed on me like I was a puzzle she was trying to solve. I nodded at her, the way you do when you're trying to be polite to a stranger. She didn't nod back, just stared. Then, without a word, she turned and shuffled into her apartment. 4E, right across from mine. The door clicked shut. I told myself it was nothing. The missing things started small. A sock vanished from my laundry. A coffee mug disappeared from the drying rack. I blamed my own forgetfulness. Grad school had turned my brain into Swiss cheese. Then came the knocking. 3 soft raps on my door, always late at night. The first time, I opened it to an empty hallway. The second time, I checked the peephole. Nothing. The third time, I yanked the door open so fast, the chain lock snapped. Still no one. I mentioned it to Mrs. Kowalski in the laundry room. "Oh, that's just Miss Adler," she said, folding a sweater with shaky hands. "She's particular. Best ignore her." "Does she knock on everyone's doors?" I asked. Mrs. Kowalski paused. "Just the ones who remind her of him." "Him?" She didn't answer. I woke up to the sound of breathing. Not mine. My room was pitch black, the kind of dark that pressed against your eyelids. I lay still, listening. There it was again, shallow, wet breaths, coming from the closet. My heart jackhammered. I fumbled for my phone, thumbed on the flashlight. The beam cut through the dark, landing on the closet door. It was open, just a crack. I didn't remember leaving it that way. I swallowed hard, swung my legs out of bed. The floorboards creaked under my weight. 1 step, 2. I grabbed the knob, yanked the door open, and there she was, Miss Adler, crouched among my shoes, her skeletal fingers clutching a yellowed photograph. Her lips stretched into a smile too wide for her face. "You're late," she whispered. Then she laughed. The super found me in the hallway, shaking, my arm bleeding where her scissors had grazed me. Miss Adler was gone, vanished into the building like smoke. She used to own this place, the super admitted, bandaging my arm in his grimy office. Back in the 70s. Then her son died. Some kind of accident. She lost her mind. Lost the building too. Bank foreclosed on her. "So why is she still here?" I demanded. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Some people don't know how to leave." He gave me my lease back. No penalties. "Get out while you can," he muttered. I did. But last week, I got a letter. No return address. Inside was a single blue button and a note in shaky handwriting. "You left your door unlocked.